Good morning, everybody. This is Betsy Wurtzel, host of Chatting with Betsy on Passionate World Talk Radio. Jeannie White is a producer. I am doing this live chat at 2:30 in the morning. You might ask why. Because it's quiet. Matt isn't talking or yelling. And I really had this gut instinct to talk about my experience lately. I had to put Matt on hospice. I came to that decision, because Matt was getting worse. He was declining more. He was falling out of bed. So I called hospice in Friday after Thanksgiving, and the nurse did admit him to hospice. And I got a hospital bed and equipment. But I have a weird situation. We live downstairs because that's where we lived when we took care of my mother-in-law. So I can't have the hospital bed downstairs because it's tight for space. Excuse me. So I couldn't get Matt up the stairs. I didn't think I could, but Matt likes quiet now. He doesn't like a lot of noise, and Josh is very noisy. He plays his radio, he has the DVD on, he has the TV on, talks on the phone. Plus, Matt would miss seeing me a lot because I can't be up and down at the same time. Well, the nurse was nice. The first aide I didn't care for, the way she approached Matt, and everybody came at once on Monday, and I had to deal with Joshua's job, and the Family Leave Act wasn't really right for him. You don't get paid with the Family Leave Act, so I figured it would be better if he could just work the morning and be home in the afternoon so I could go to work. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So that worked out. I mean, it is a loss of income, but I don't want to have to stop working. And that way Josh isn't at a loss for his job altogether. He's still working. So that makes him feel, productive. Getting back to Matt, so another aide came on Tuesday because I had asked for an aide for the morning as put on the waiting list. Well, she came and she was nicer than the first one, but she did what I could do. And coming in the afternoon isn't an option. I don't like Josh home alone with strangers, and he doesn't like to be home alone with strangers. So that's why I asked for a morning. But then I'm not going to get ready for work if I have to supervise and help Matt. Now, Matt got very agitated. Josh told me I went to get something for the aide, and Josh told me she grabbed Matt, I guess, under the armpits, and maybe she wasn't gentle with him. I didn't see it, and then he got agitated. And then he stayed agitated, cursed her out, and I had to medicate him. And she told me that I should have medicated him before she came. And I said he was medicated. So I feel, in my own opinion, I don't need it now. Let someone else who really needs an aide have the aide. I called at the hospice, and they said, as long as I have a nurse, you need to have a nurse visit. And I said, that's fine. As long as she comes when I'm home. So I don't have a problem with the nurse visit. The chaplain is going to come on Friday. I took off this week to get things situated. Everyone has to do what is best for them, is what I truly have discovered. Deciding on hospice was really heartbreaking for me, because to me it is, I know it's not the end. I know it isn't a death sentence. They could come off a hospice and then go back on. But to me, that hospital bed represented Matt's deathbed. I'm not saying it would be, I'm just saying I couldn't put him on there. And that's one of the reasons. Plus the noise is the second one. I know I'm a control freak. And I know I like to control things to a certain extent. But I saw how Matt was with the aide. I knew he wouldn't like strangers. I knew he would be agitated. So I could just sponge bathe him myself, really. I used to be a nurse. I know how to give a sponge bath. And I just want to tell the folks out there who are caregivers, do what is best for you and your loved one. And if you have peace about it, then that's all that matters. I had a really rough time with guilt this past weekend. I worked through it. I know I talked about caregiver's guilt, and I had to learn something for myself this past weekend I want to share with you. That's why I'm talking about this. I felt guilty about putting Matt on Klonopin. I felt guilty about giving him an increase in Valium. I felt guilty that he was a zombie. I wanted a happy medium. I come to find out there is no happy medium. This end stage is rough, folks. I don't want to scare people who are just starting out, because everyone is different. But this end stage is really tough. And I talked to the nurses and to the social worker. And it seems that I was told there really isn't a happy medium. You don't want them agitated. That's not good. So then they become sleepy for the medication, which they said was better for them. And I really had to work through my guilt of that. I felt that I was making that worse, and I cried. And that's okay that I cried. And it's okay that I was sad and felt grief like I never felt before, putting him on hospice. Matt is eating very well. His appetite really picked up lately, which is kind of bizarre. I put him on baby food because it was easier. Doing oral care on Matt is a little tough. I brought the oral mouth sponges, and he bit a piece of the sponge off, so I can't use that because he bites on it. And he won't open his mouth all the way for me to brush his teeth. Folks, there's no easy answers. I can't sugarcoat this. You know, if you're in the beginning stage, enjoy your life, enjoy your loved one, live in the moment. To me, the hardest parts of this journey so far was the beginning. Why the beginning? Because, you know, they look normal, so you think they should be normal, and they do things that are not normal. Matt used to come with me to go food shopping and to do errands. And I remember he couldn't even figure out how to put a case of water in the shopping cart. And that he would, you know, put things in the wrong place. And I knew he had to give up mowing the lawn. And he did that probably after 3 or 4 years. he had to give up driving. So when you see each scale lost, it does hurt. And you do grieve with each scale lost. I know I did. I cried when they came to pick up his car. Matt's car was leased. I couldn't afford to carry insurance or pay for 2 car payments with a loss of income. It's very interesting that there is a rise in early onset. They're seeing more and more people having early onset. The social worker that came told me that when she was in graduate school, people were labeled schizophrenia, and she researched, and they had traumatic brain injury. They weren't schizophrenic. She said they were in their 40s or 50s, and the schizophrenia usually starts much younger. So traumatic brain injury can cause dementia. Something to think about, because veterans have had traumatic brain injuries from being hit by IEDs and other weapons. Football players, hockey players, wrestlers, the list could go on and on. Car accidents. I am very blessed that Matt has progressed slowly until last year. And definitely this year, definitely recently. Matt can fluctuate from moment to moment. It's not even the day anymore. It's moment to moment. And as a caregiver, we have to constantly adjust. Folks, I'm going to tell you, this is an exhausting journey. It is exhausting on all levels. And yes, self-care is very vital. Yet it is hard to meditate when they are screaming for you or just screaming and cursing. I can't even put into words this journey. I feel, it is different with everybody. I'm going to take what I learned from this journey, and I'm going to go forth into my life after caregiving. And yes, I think about life after caregiving because I have to focus on something to look forward to, on something positive. And yes, I will miss Matt, and yes, I will grieve him. And sometimes I feel guilty about that too. I even felt guilty this year about feeling so blessed that things are happening for me. And then I think as my journey is getting better, for lack of a better term, things are opening up for me, things are getting exciting for me, and I felt guilty because Matt is nearing the end of his journey. And someone told me, Betsy, your journey and Matt's journey are separate. So don't feel guilty. And because of Matt's journey, it has become part of my journey. But it's separate even though we're married. That's something to think about, folks. If you're married or you have a partner, excuse me, your journey and your partner or spouse's journey is separate. So don't feel guilty, or try not to, about feeling blessed. If good things are coming your way, try not to feel guilty of thinking of life afterwards and enjoying it. I'm preparing for my life afterwards. I'm now attending online a workshop for empowerment and dating relationships. Not that I would jump at dating again, but I want to empower myself. I want to feel good about myself so I can bring that to the table if I do meet somebody. You have to be comfortable in your own skin and love yourself before you can love someone else. And this I have learned. Don't expect any partner to make you feel good about yourself or to show you the love that you need if you don't love yourself first. And I'm going to talk about that in another show, because chatting with Betsy is not just caregiving, but it's other topics. I want to talk about medical marijuana. I want to talk about the so-called Affordable Health Care Act. These are topics I'm going to be bringing up. Death and dying. I'm going to be interviewing Erica Hess again on the effects of what caregiving and what dealing with a dementia grandparent, father does to a child. You know, our brains are already mature, and stress takes an effect on us. Can you imagine how stress must affect a growing brain? That's something to think about. So I look forward to my next interview. Excuse me. With Erica Hess. I welcome any suggestions and topics for my show. If you'd like to be a guest on my show, please PM me. Excuse me, I got off track. Back to my end of life. I think it's very important that you find out your loved one's wishes. I think it's important that you honor their wishes. Now, your loved one's wishes may not be in alignment with your wishes or your beliefs, but you still must respect them. Matt already has a living will, a medical directive. He does not want a feeding tube. I will not have him have that. He is a do not resuscitate, comfort measures only. Now, people might think, oh, Betsy, he's only 66. But Matt has suffered with Alzheimer's for 10 years. He's been fighting it. He is my hero. He very seldom complained about this disease. He had told me that he hated it. He wished he didn't have it, of course. And probably longer than 10 years. He was diagnosed. It would be 10 years in 2020, but he was going for a test at this time 10 years ago. Looking back at hindsight, he started probably at 54, 55 years old. Maybe he had it when his mother had Alzheimer's. I don't know. There's no way of knowing. Folks, my mission and my vision, and I have to have a mission and I have to have a vision to concentrate on to make it through this other side. I want to raise awareness where I live. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I started doing videos. And I had a vision that I wanted somebody to hear me and to have me on the radio station. And lo and behold, Jeannie White, station manager, Passion World Talk Radio, also producer, heard me. she asked me to come on her show. And I was thrilled. I jumped up and down. First time I talked on Jeannie's show, I cried. I cried after. I probably cried during my interview. I could have died a happy woman. I did it. I told the world my story, our story. And then Jeannie asked me to speak weekly. And then a few months ago, Jeannie asked me to be a guest host. And then Jeannie said, Betsy, I think you can be a host. And, of course, I didn't feel worthy enough. I didn't feel good enough. And I'm ever so grateful that Jeannie had asked me. I do feel worthy enough now. I know I'm good enough now. I'm taking self-improvement, folks. I need to go out into this world after Matt's journey is over and present myself to do maybe fundraising in my town, to start a support group. And who would take me seriously if I don't believe in myself? Yes, I believe in my mission, but if I don't believe in myself or think that I could do it, then other people will think that also. So this conversation is a mixture of topics. It covers many topics, and I know I'm kind of scattered. It's almost 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm a little scatterbrained. But I just have to say how I feel, folks. I appreciate you all listening. I appreciate Lillian Caldwell for the station to give people a voice. I can't even thank Jeannie White enough for taking me under her wing and mentoring me. And Erin Lay, her first Shattered Women Rising Summit, that's what started my empowerment. And I'm going to take one of her workshops in February. I just took one, I think, in September. You know, you have to want to help yourself, folks. And it's okay to want to better yourself. I'm going to be 62 on Friday. If I live to be 70, as the Bible says, I get to 70 as a gift, anything after as a bonus, then I want these 8 years to be the best of my life if I live to 70. I want to set the world on fire and raise awareness on early onset. And I'm not a Pollyanna by any means. I was always a negative person. And where did that get me, being a negative? Nowhere. Being positive, that got me somewhere. Positive people started coming into my life. I felt like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz this year, folks. I always wanted to know what my gifts were, and I would ask God all the time, what are my gifts? I found out what they were this year. I had the power and I had the gifts all along, but I didn't know it. I didn't realize it until people started to tell me, Betsy, you inspire me. People have called me a hero. I don't think I'm deserving of that. But thank you for those who think that I am a hero. Thank you very much. I'm doing the same thing as you are. I just have a big mouth about it. I get emotional. I'm not going to apologize for that. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing now. People ask, Betsy, how can you do a radio show with what's going on in your life? Because it energizes me. I say to myself, Betsy, when do you feel the most alive? What energizes your soul? And I told Jeannie this recently. It's talking on the radio show. It's when I do a video. That's when I feel most alive. I may not sound like it now, but that's when I feel most alive. It just is so energizing to me. And you know what? Who knows where this journey will lead me after Matt is gone. I still had Josh to take care of. And I still have Josh to tend to because Josh has a cognitive disability. So I'm not 100% free after Matt goes. And sometimes I ask myself, why do I have two people to take care of? When is someone going to take care of me? Then I heard someone on a talk. It's not about me. It's not about you. Don't ask why. Ask, what can you learn from this experience? What can you learn from this journey? And then share it with other people. And really, that's what chatting with Betsy is. I'm sharing with you my story, our story, so you can learn from my experiences so you don't make the same mistakes. I feel it is my responsibility as a veteran caregiver to help what I call the newbies to navigate these waters. I wished there was somebody 20 years ago, 10 years ago, to help me through this. When my mother-in-law had Alzheimer's, there wasn't this information, so I didn't handle it correctly. I could handle it better. But you know what, folks? In the beginning, I didn't handle my Alzheimer's like I should have. Do I feel guilty about it? No, I didn't know any better then. You do the best you can with the knowledge you have at that time. I did not know about vision changes. I did not know the perception changes. This is why caregivers, I tell people to educate themselves because it's so important. And yes, I know reading about it and living about it is two different things. Because let me tell you, folks, when you see the end stage, it will hit you like a sledgehammer. And I felt the grief. I embraced it. Embrace how you feel, folks. Embrace your grief. Don't suppress it. I want to impress that. Do not suppress your grief or your feelings because it's going to bite you right in the butt. It's going to ruin your health. So let it out. If you want to cry, you could cry. And I feel this way, folks. As far as being strong, I don't need people to tell me to be strong. I've been strong. I've been strong all along. But you know what? Even strong people have their moments. I've gone to work sick. I've gone to work after being up all night, pumping out my basement. I've been strong dealing with Matt's disease. I almost had a nervous breakdown. I'm not ashamed to say it because I thought I had to be Superwoman and suck it up. No. I don't tell Josh to be strong. If he wants to cry, I tell him to cry. Let it out. Let it out, folks. I don't mean yell and scream at people. I mean, if you want to cry, you cry. If you want to sob, you sob. You're going to have a pity party, set the timer, and then move it along. I know life is worth the living, folks. And I, Lord willing, plan to live it. Yes, this journey and caregiving can really stink, and it could also be very rewarding. I realized something tonight, folks. We caregivers show unconditional love. You know what unconditional love is? You're showing love and expecting nothing in return. And we know our loved ones can't give us anything in return. But the gift is, I'll start crying. Our gift is to show unconditional love and knowing we are showing our loved ones that we love them right to the end. Right to the end, folks. They can hear. They can hear your voice and the touch. Hearing's the last sense to go. And I say this, I'm going to say it over and over. I will love Matt right to heaven's door. And he misses me when I'm gone. Do I feel guilty going to work? Yes, I do. But I have to. I have no choice. That's why Josh is not working in the afternoon, which is loss of income to him. And I have Joshua's bus company's permission. So I said I would put a good word out there. Joshua works for Dapper, D-A-P-P-E-R, bus company. They hire people with disabilities. They are a very good company. They treat people with disabilities with the utmost respect. They work with people whose family members are sick. Excuse me. And that means a lot. They allow for people to have a job coach on the premises, and that is not always the case in a lot of places. So kudos and bravo to the Dapper Bus Company. And I'm going to have to put that on my own Facebook page. So that's my chatting with Betsy. I want to encourage caregivers to just follow your gut instinct. It won't steer you wrong. Do what's best for you. Do what's best for your loved one. Don't worry about people's judgments. I asked hospice, do you need to have an aide to be in hospice? They said, no, you could just have a nurse. Excuse me, come weekly. I said, that's fine. And a social worker, if I want her to, can come every other week. And a chaplain, I guess, can come whenever I want them. They manage his meds. Excuse me. And so I'm glad I did put Matt on hospice for that support. I will get Matt an aide when I feel he needs it. I feel like there's other people who need it more, and so let them have it. I will take an aide when I really need one. It was interesting. You know, you can go off a hospice if they feel the patient's doing better. They reevaluate you. I think she said every 6 months. Maybe it's 3 months. I don't remember. Interesting. She heard Matt talk clearly, but he was also babbling. And for some reason with dementia, they have to show a decline or they won't get hospice. If they keep talking well, they could be denied hospice. The hospice nurse asked me, does he talk? I said, well, sometimes he talks clearly. She said, I'll pretend I don't hear that because then he won't get on hospice. And yet people with cancer, that's okay. They could talk. It's different guidelines for someone with cancer. I thought that was ridiculous, but that's the way the system is. So I just want you folks to know that. Well, folks, I'm going to say goodbye, but before I do, remember, you are a shining star in your loved one's life. You're a shining star no matter where you go. Look in the mirror. Say, I am good enough, and I love myself, and I am worthy of good things. Think positive, folks. I know it's hard. And I want you to give yourself a hug and pat yourself on the back. Say, I am a good caregiver. I'm doing the best that I can. Folks, please share this audio cast. Read the blog that Jeannie White worked so hard on. Share it. And tell your friends about this. Tell your friends about Passion World Talk Radio. It has many good programs on there, many wonderful hosts. Check it out. There's going to be a Christmas program where children can talk to Santa Claus. But I forgot the date on that. I could get it from Jeannie. Jeannie could write it in the blog if she'd like. This is Betsy Wurtzel on Chatting with Betsy, the host of Chatting with Betsy on Passion World Talk Radio. The producer, Jeannie White. Thank you, Jeannie. And I'm not an expert, folks. I'm just sharing from my heart. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. I have a support group, hashtag Kick Alzheimer's Ass Movement. Anyone is welcome to join, whether you have a family member with dementia or not. Any dementia is welcome. People with any dementia are welcome. You can follow me on my Facebook page, Betsy Wurtzel, Wurzel, and you can see my pictures. You can follow my journey. My life's an open book. And I show the good, the bad, and the ugly of Alzheimer's. And I'm going to give another talk in the near future of what Alzheimer's did for me. So, and talk about some positive things. I hope everyone had a happy Thanksgiving, or as happy as it could be. And I just want to say thank you. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this radio station, and I'm grateful for the love and support of friends. So have a blessed day, folks. If you can't have a good day, have a day, and look for your blessings. Bye-bye.